seem to have a lot of time on their hands. Yes, I'd appreciate you ask your men to slow down these horses.
You got yourself a problem, Sheriff.
You chop nothing, boy.
I am asking you nicely.
The desert wind howled as Sonny helped his Uncle Cav sneak ammo into his coat at the town's only shop. Sonny tried to keep the owner, Brooks, distracted with small talk about storybook characters. Brooks, an older man with a sharp eye, offered to show Sonny some classic titles. But Sonny couldn't shake the feeling. Brooks looked eerily like Jesse James, the notorious outlaw said to have been shot by his own gang decades ago. Brooks denied it with a stiff smile, but something about him screamed he had a past. Just as things were going okay, Cav clumsily dropped a few boxes of bullets while trying to stuff them into his coat. It was enough to raise suspicion. After Cav handed the stolen ammo off to the crew, they later spotted Brooks chatting quietly with Sheriff Forrest. It was obvious he had noticed the theft. That little mistake turned out to be the tipping point. But this wasn't where the story really began. A few days earlier, the gang had barely made it out of Sweetwater with their lives and a pile of stolen cash. Blackjack's crew had burst into town like a sandstorm.
Everybody, grab a ceiling. Open the safe.
I don't know the combination.
There's blue boys out there.
Sonny, the youngest of the bunch and Blackjack's nephew, had been caught in the middle of it all, helping Dolly, a kind woman who'd been hit by a stray bullet, and dragging a bleeding gang member's safety. They rode hard for hours, dust in their faces and bullets whizzing past. When they were finally far enough, Blackjack told everyone to stop and divvy up the money.
All right, throw those bags on Ginger. We got a hard road ahead of us, and some of you ain't gonna make it.
His brother Badger, nursing a bullet wound, insisted he could go on.
Good ride, Blackjack. You ain't got to worry none.
They're coming. Let's keep pushing it.
Dad, give me a reins.
But not long after, he collapsed. Sonny stayed by his side, worried sick. By the next morning, Badger had lost too much blood. He asked for a quick death. Everyone hesitated.
Badger's down!
Do me a left, kindness, Jack, and end it.
I can't spare the bullet.
Kevin, will you?
But their moment was cut short by gunfire. Sonny got hit in the leg. The security forces were right behind them. During their escape, the horse carrying their loot got shot. Blackjack considered grabbing the money, but Cav told him to leave it. It wasn't worth more lives.
Come on! Not worth dying for!
The gang ditched the lawmen after a wild chase and rode straight into a thick, blinding sandstorm. Once they pushed through, the storm gave way to something unexpected, a green, peaceful forest. They wandered through the strange landscape.
It sure as hell ain't Mexico.
Head now. I just keep a sharp eye. So riding nice and easy.
Sheriff Forrest greeted them. Blackjack lied, saying they were ranchers attacked by Apaches and needed help. The sheriff, oddly trusting, welcomed them warmly. He offered drinks, a place for their horses, and even free rooms at the local hotel. Blackjack asked about sending a message, pretending to want to contact their boss, but Forrest said the town had no connection to the outside world. Deputy Glenn showed them around, while a woman named Rose helped get the injured to a doctor named Woods.
So, beautiful little town you got here. How long is it that you have lived here?
5 years, 1 week, and 2 days.
It appears I'm back in business. What are you looking at?
Have you ever been in Wichita?
I was there once.
While Sonny was being treated, he told Rose that he'd only ever killed one person, and that the man had asked him to. Rose didn't say much, just listened and walked away. Meanwhile, Dr. Woods quietly handed over bullets he'd removed from the wounded outlaws to Forrest.
45.
Not many Indians use a 45.
45.
So what are we gonna do about it?
Maybe they'll leave peacefully.
Don't work that way, Sheriff.
We got any other choice?
Blackjack, still uneasy, kept thinking he'd seen the sheriff before, and Woods too. Later that evening, as townspeople flooded the church for service, the gang realized something. They'd stumbled into a place full of religious folk, probably harmless and definitely unarmed. Cav smirked, whispering how easy this town would be to rob. Sonny overheard and asked what he meant, but Cav told him to stay in his lane. After the service, Sonny found Rose again. He poured his heart out, explaining that the man he shot was his uncle, dying and desperate for a mercy killing. He didn't want her to see him as some cold-hearted criminal. He even told her he liked her. But Cav, drunk and jealous, picked a fight.
Hey, Sonny, why don't you bring her over for a drink? Look at you, hugging all the whores. They're all whores. Ugh! How about me and you crack some calico?
Put him in jail?
We don't have a jail.
Good night, Sonny.
Rose walked away with Forrest, and when Blackjack asked what happened, Sonny lied. Said Cav passed out from too much booze. The next morning, Forrest asked Sonny to let Blackjack know he wanted to talk. Sonny, getting curious, asked how long Forrest had been sheriff. 10 years, he replied. That number made something click. Sonny pulled out his book and flipped through a page. Wild Bill Hickok. The sheriff looked just like him. But Wild Bill was supposed to be dead since 1876, shot during a poker game. Later, Blackjack and Forrest had their chat. Forrest brought up Cav's behavior with Rose and urged Blackjack to keep his men under control. Blackjack asked who knocked out Cav, and Forrest just shrugged. Nobody saw anything, and Cav was too drunk to remember. Blackjack then noticed something strange. Forrest didn't carry a gun. What do you keep a piece? Blackjack asked. Forrest replied, calm as ever. We have our ways. And now, with Brooks possibly tipping off the sheriff, and patience wearing thin, Blackjack had had enough.
Hey, if you didn't get away as clean as you thought.
I'm sick and tired acting polite.
I don't see no bold moves being made our way.
Tell the boys they can start to have their way with this town.
Forrest, standing firm at the church entrance, asked Blackjack to rein in his wild men. But Blackjack didn't care.
The men seem to have a lot of time on their hands. Yes, I'd appreciate you ask your men to slow down these horses.
You got yourself a problem, Sheriff.
You ain't chop nothing, boy.
I am asking you nicely.
The third outlaw was about to throw his blade when something insane happened. Lightning struck out of nowhere, zapping one of Blackjack's guys right where he stood. Everyone froze. Even the bandits went silent, completely stunned. After the crowd cleared, the quiet native man who guarded the strange gate came and carried the dead outlaw's body through that mysterious arch just outside town. That night, while the place settled down, Sonny saw Rose quietly praying. Eventually, he nodded off, but was woken by the sound of horse hooves. Out stepped a familiar face, Dolly. Sonny's heart stopped. Dolly had died back in Sweetwater.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
The carriage driver handed a white rose to Forrest and whispered that his time to return home was near. Confused, Sonny tried to chase the carriage down, but it vanished. The next day, Sonny confronted Dolly, who now went by API.
Do you deny it? You're Dolly Sloan, harlot with a heart. I want to know how she can be standing here alive and breathing when I saw her dead in Sweetwater.
Sorry, young man, but my name is, Ivy.
She died in my arms.
Maybe you were thinking of someone else.
I've been told I look a lot like her.
If you excuse us, we're showing Ivy the town.
Holiday, draw!
But Woods brushed it off, saying anyone would flinch when startled. That got Sonny thinking. What if this whole town was some kind of afterlife for dead outlaws? He suspected Glenn might really be Billy the Kid, who was supposed to be long gone. Woods flipped the script and asked Sonny if he really knew who Rose was. Sonny didn't have an answer. Worried, Sonny asked why Blackjack was allowed into town if the people could have stopped him. Then, in the heat of the moment, Sonny slipped and said Blackjack's real name. Woods froze. He recognized that name.
What famous outlaw is Rose?
I don't know. If you are all those people, then why y'all eating Blackjack's crow?
So that's Blackjack Britton. I've heard of him. What's a farm kid like you doing riding with the likes of him?
I wasn't supposed to let on. You're not going to tell.
Later, Sonny showed up at Lamb's farm and accused him of being Lefty Slade. a deadly gunslinger supposedly killed years ago. Lamb denied it until Sonny noticed an old scar on his left wrist. Busted, Slade admitted who he really was. Before Sonny could ask more, chaos broke out. Two of Blackjack's men trashed Slade's garden.
Hey! Get out of my garden!
But the guilt crushed him. He cried out, devastated. The townspeople gathered as Slade admitted his 8 years of peace in the town meant nothing now. The gatekeeper silently waited in the distance. Slade, defeated, walked with him into the misty arch. Blackjack's crew kept pushing the town's patience. Forrest called Blackjack out by name and told them to leave. Blackjack lunged at him but couldn't land a hit.
Blackjack Breton, you're no longer welcome in Refuge. Collect your men and ride out.
Bring him down!
An earthquake stopped everything. Blackjack, rattled by the lightning strike and the way his men had failed to kill Forrest, gathered the rest of his crew. Sonny tried to sneak in, but was caught by Cav. Still, Sonny managed to eavesdrop on their twisted plans.
Take whatever the hell you can carry.
Sonny rushed to find her and spotted her swimming in a lake. When she got dressed, he noticed a scar on her neck, same kind Lefty had. That's when it clicked. Rose admitted the truth. She was the first woman ever hanged in Arizona.
What is that around your neck?
I was the first woman ever to be hanged in the Arizona Territory.
The one who hacked her father to death with a meat cleaver?
Everyone forgot to mention how he had his dirty hands all over me since I was 12.
You Betty McCullough.
Rose explained that this place wasn't some easy escape. It was their last shot at redemption. Sonny told her what Blackjack and Cav were planning. Rose, calm as ever, said the town had seen worse. Still, she agreed to help him tell Forrest and the others. That night, Sonny joined everyone at the church. There, the town's truth came out. Every single person was a former outlaw who had died. If they could go 10 years without repeating their old sins, they'd earn a place in heaven. But one slip up, and it was over.
Lift a gun one time, it's over.
Holds out for 10 years, neither inflicting nor attracting harm. We're spared the fate of Brother Lamb.
You come from a world of options.
Ours has been here the longest, and he's got less than 24 hours to go.
Well, then at least stand up to him and take a few of them down with you. But I can't believe you're all just gonna stand around and let yourselves get slaughtered.
Feeling let down, Sonny walked away.
Where you going, boy?
Is he okay?
Unconscious, Sonny was taken to Wood's clinic. When he woke up, he thought he was dead. Rose told him he wasn't. Forrest apologized, admitting he'd failed him. Sonny, despite everything, said he'd still face Blackjack's crew alone. The next morning, weak but determined, Sonny got ready to fight.
Sonny! What are you doing?
I can't let him do it, Rose.
Do you even know how to shoot that thing?
Come on, honey.
I love you.
Forrest, you're coming.
Moved by Sonny's bravery, Forrest stepped beside him. He'd spent 10 years focused only on himself. But not anymore. Woods warned him. He had just 5 hours left to ascend to heaven. Forrest didn't care. He dropped his white rose and picked up a weapon. Glenn and Brooks followed. They knew helping would cost them heaven, but they couldn't ignore it anymore. Sonny looked around and saw the legends at his side, Billy the Kid, Wild Bill Hickok, Jesse James. It felt unreal. Blackjack gave the order to burn down homes.
The way the man wears those guns, put your mind to Wild Bill Hickok.
Hank, do it.
This is your last invitation to turn around and ride out.
Sheriff, your mother's a whore.
You still have 16 to your 4, Sheriff. The odds are against you.
One of Blackjack's men tried a sneak move, but Doc Holliday, now fighting for the town, shot him down.
The odds are getting better.
When the dust settled, Rose ran into Sonny's arms. Cav, bitter and jealous, shot Sonny.
That don't hurt none. Come on, not dead.
Welcome to Refuge, son.
But peace didn't last. Blackjack called out Forrest's real name and demanded a duel.
Wild Bill Hickok. We got one thing left to settle.
Even when Blackjack took the hit, he didn't flinch. He thought he'd become immortal like the others. Forrest didn't buy it. Back in town, Forrest, Brooks, Glenn, and Woods prepared for their punishment. But instead of flames, a carriage appeared. The driver smiled and said their sacrifices had earned them a place in heaven.
Time to go home, folks. Creator may be tough, but he ain't blind.
He invited Sonny too, saying he'd done enough. But Sonny chose to stay with Rose. Forrest smiled, took off his sheriff's badge, and handed it to Sonny. The carriage rolled off into the clouds, carrying 4 legends to eternal peace. Moral of the story? If your uncle ever says robbing banks and dueling ghosts is good life advice, maybe it's time to find a new role model.